Greetings and a radiant morning to our esteemed dignitaries, faculty members, the bright minds of tomorrow, and participants from diverse universities and colleges worldwide. I am Kaushal.
And I am Khushi, and we are your host for the day. Allow me to kickstart our journey with a thought-provoking quote from Peter Drucker. The best way to predict the future is to create it. With these insightful words, we set the stage for the exploration of sustainability. The central theme for the first International Conference on Advances in Environmental Sustainability, Energy and Earth Sciences, AESEE 2024.
May I request the organizing secretaries of AESEE 2024, Dr. Pankaj Pathak, Associate Professor, Dr. Javed Ahmad Dar, and Dr. Subhashri Kudandaraman, Assistant Professors, Department of Environmental Science and Engineering, to accompany the dignitaries to the dais.
We welcome the dignitaries, Professor Manoj K. Arora, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of SRM University AP, Professor V.S. Rao, the Advisor of SRM University AP. Keynote speaker, Professor Prakasham Tata, the Visionary Executive Director of the Center for Transformation of Waste Technology, USA. Our chief guest, Dr. Prakash Chauhan, the illustrious Director of NRSC, National Remote Sensing Center, Hyderabad, and Dr. Ranga Bhashyam, Associate Professor and Head of Department of Environmental Science and Engineering. Your presence will undoubtedly enrich the discussions and elevate the spirit of this momentous occasion. Welcome everyone to the beginning of a transformative journey at AESEE 2024.
The thematic pillars of AESEE 2024 encompass a broad spectrum of environmental sustainability, energy, and earth sciences that collectively span across 15 enriching themes. Under these guiding principles, the scientific community stands united for global collaboration, aiming to address challenges on a worldwide scale and combat the urgent issue of climate change. Embracing the commitment, we not only envision but actively contribute to the future we aspire to, aligning our actions and decisions with the noble pursuit of achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
Now, let's set the stage for a day of enlightenment and collaboration. We begin the soulful invocation. I kindly request everyone to rise for the invocation. Thank you. May I request the secretaries of the conference to lead the dignitaries for the ceremonial lamp lighting. Thank you, everyone. Now, I extend the floor to Dr. Ranga Bhashyam, Head of Department and Associate Professor of the Department of Environmental Science and Engineering, to extend a heartfelt welcome to our distinguished guests.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Manoj K. Arora, Honorable Advisor, Professor V.S. Rao, our distinguished Chief Guest, Dr. Prakash Chauhan, Keynote Speaker, Professor Prakasam Tata, Deans, Associate Deans, Directors, Heads of Departments, Faculty members, students, and participants hailing from diverse states and countries across the globe. It with the great pleasure and enthusiasm that I extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you on behalf of the Department of Environmental Science and Engineering to this first international conference on advances in environmental sustainability, energy, and earth science, AESEE 2024, here at the vibrant campus of our university. Allow me to commence by sharing some insights about the Department of Environmental Science and Engineering at SRM University AP. Our department stands as a beacon of academic excellence, where researchers, scholars, and practitioners converge to push the boundaries of knowledge and innovation. Notably, our department has secured government-funded projects with outlay of rupees 2 crore, alongside industry consultancy projects totaling rupees 9 lakh. In the realm of academic publications, our department has contributed significantly with a total of 165 articles, among which an impressive 106 have been published in Q1 journals. Additionally, we take pride in the fact that our faculty members have filed 10 patents, of which 2 have been published and 8 have been granted. 2 have been granted and 8 have been published. As we gather here today, we embark on a journey that transcends geographical boundaries and disciplinary confines, converging upon the shared goals of addressing the most pressing challenging facing our planet. Here I'm happy to state that our faculty members are working in the multifaceted dimensions of environmental sustainability, energy dynamics, and the intricate of earth science. As we engage in environmental discussions over the next few days, I'm confident that the amalgamation of diverse perspectives and insights from this international congregation will serve as a crucible for transformative ideas and innovative solutions. I encourage you to actively participate in sessions, share your knowledge, and contribute to the collective pool of knowledge that will be within this ecosystem in the Nike of AESEE 2024. In recognition of excellence and scholarly rigor, it gives me immense pleasure to announce that the prizes will be bestowed upon the finest papers in both oral and poster categories, celebrating the exemplary contribution of our esteemed participants. Furthermore, I am delighted to share that the conference proceedings will be indexed by Scopus and published by Springer, thereby amplifying the reach and impact of our deliberations on a global scale. At its core, AESEE 2024 embodies a shared commitment to addressing environmental challenges and promoting sustainable practices. Our conference objectives align with the urgent need to discuss frontiers area of research, disseminate scientific information, and foster collaborative efforts towards achieving environmental sustainability. Let us seize this opportunity to identify the addressed challenges, share, learn, and connect with the leading experts from academia, industry, scientists, and professionals. Together, we can make meaningful strides towards a more sustainable and resilient future. Once again, I extend my warmest welcome to all participants, and I express my sincerest hope that AESEE 2024 will serve as a catalyst for the genesis of novel ideas, the forging of enduring collaborations, and the sowing of transformative solutions that will be bear fruit for the future generations to come. Thank you, and let the journey of exploration and discovery commence. Thank you again.
May I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, to present a bouquet to Dr. Prakash Chauhan, Chief Guest of AESEE 2024. Now, may I request Professor V.S. Rao, Advisor at SRM University AP, to present a bouquet to Professor Prakasam Tata, the keynote speaker.
Next in line, we eagerly anticipate the esteemed presence of Professor V.S. Rao, advisor at SRM University AP, to share his insights with the gathering.
Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Prakash Gautam, distinguished keynote speaker, Prakasham Tata, respected Vice Chancellors, Vice Chancellor Professor Manoj Arora, organizing committee members on the dais, eminent speakers, faculty and students. Good morning to one and all. Let me extend a warm welcome to all the people present here and congratulate the organizers for choosing such an important and appropriate area concerning the entire world for their first international conference. And also thank the Department of Environmental Science and Engineering for providing me this opportunity to participate. I am very happy to note from the speech given by the head of the department, Dr. Rangabashyam, giving the accomplishments of this department in this nascent university. Of course, the department was established along with the university in the year 2017, but one can understand how much time it will take to start their research. Given that benefit of 2 to 3 years for establishing the laboratories, it is commendable for their publications. It is one of the leading departments in the university. If I correctly recall, you mentioned 106 publications and 10 patents filed, 2 granted, and several research projects. Normally, in any university, you start the programs with a bachelor's, then master's, then PhD, and then the outcomes will come. Here, it is the reverse. They have started the PhD program first and started offering environmental science courses and projects to undergraduate students across all engineering, science, and humanities students. And combinedly with students, they have published papers and they have received several awards for their best accomplishments. Of course, he has mentioned that they are engaged in many frontier areas of research in biodiversity and resources recycling to energy conversion and climate change, which is raising alarming bells. Of course, I am not an expert in this area. I thought I would share some of the interesting readings on the net, to be very frank, with many people who are familiar with all these aspects about the alarming bell of the climate change. What is that? That is the ocean, the world's greatest ally against a climate change. I was reading on the net. I got really interested. I thought I will take this occasion to share that interesting note with all of you. The ocean generates 50% of the oxygen we need, absorbs 25% of all carbon dioxide emissions, and captures 90% of the excess heat generated by these emissions. The ocean is not just the lungs of the planet. It's the largest carbon sink, a vital buffer against the impacts of climate change. The ocean is central to reducing global greenhouse gas emissions and stabilizing the Earth's climate. However, increasing greenhouse gas emissions have affected the health of the ocean itself, warming and acidifying seawater, causing detrimental changes to life underwater and on land, and reducing the ocean's ability to absorb carbon dioxide and safeguard life on the planet. Ocean habitats such as seagrasses, mangroves, along with their associated food webs, can sequester carbon dioxide from the atmosphere at rates up to 4 times higher than the terrestrial forests can. Their ability to capture and store carbon make mangroves highly valuable in the fight against climate change. Mangroves are some of the most carbon-rich ecosystems on the planet, storing on an average 1,000 tons of carbon per hectare in their biomass and underlying soils. In addition, these ecosystems also support healthy fisheries, improve water quality, and provide coastal protection against floods and storms. The ocean is an incredible source of renewable energy. I'm sure some of our people are going to talk about this. Both offshore wind and ocean energy derived from natural sources such as wind, water, and tides that don't emit carbon dioxide or other greenhouse gases that contribute to global warming. Ocean energy systems use both kinetic and thermal energy of seawater waves of current, for instance, to provide electricity or heat. Ocean energy systems are still at an early stage of development, with a number of prototype wave and tidal current devices being explored. It gives enormous opportunity for the entrepreneurs to get into this area. Ocean energy has the potential to easily exceed present human energy requirements. This is another area I would like to now shift to. There is another area of ocean which requires the attention of researchers, that is green shipping. Approximately 80% of the world trade is transported by maritime shipping, which accounts for nearly 3% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Reducing the CO2 emissions of ships to zero by 2050 is crucial in the fight against climate change. This means moving away from traditional fossil fuels to new zero-emission energy sources such as hydrogen, ammonia, methanol, or wind. Green shipping is an important part of a sustainable blue economy, one that promotes economic growth and people's well-being through sound production, trade, and shipping practices without impacting the health of our ocean. Let me now shift to the resilience of coastal communities. More than 680 million people, nearly 10% of the global population, live in low-lying coastal zones, bearing the brunt of climate change. Highly vulnerable communities in low-lying areas, including small islands, are 15 times more likely to be killed by floods and storms compared to regions with very low vulnerability. Ocean climate action must reduce those impacts and build resilience for ecosystems and coastal communities dependent upon healthy ocean. That would include adaptation measures that predict risks, vulnerabilities and solutions, including early warning systems and sustainable nature-based solutions to help communities. Like this, there are many areas where by combining traditional knowledge with emerging technologies, we can offer better solutions to save life on Earth. I would like to conclude with a request to one and all to respect nature, or else it will disrespect in a disproportionate and unpredictable manner which is detrimental to the humanity. This we have experienced during the last decade than ever before. I am sure you will deliberate on many ways of respecting the nature during the conference and come out with path-breaking suggestions for implementation. I wish all participants best time ahead and derive the benefit from the interesting discussions. Thank you for all your patience, and thanking once again the organizers for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Our sincere gratitude to Professor V.S. Rao for imparting words of wisdom, that set the tone for this distinguished event. Thank you, sir.
It is my privilege to request Professor Manoj K. Arora, Vice Chancellor of SRM University AP, to deliver the inaugural address.
Dr. Prakash Chauhan, my good friend, chief guest today, and he is Director of National Remote Sensing Center, the area in which I work. In fact, remote sensing is my area, my bread and butter. Professor Dr. Prakasham Tata, you know, Prakash and Prakasam, so we don't need light today. Right, the whole hall is bright, has brightened up, right? So thank you for of course, yes, we are blessed that, I mean, whole campus is lighted with both of your presence here on this campus today. Fellow colleagues on the dais, off the dais, and delegates from outside, I heartily welcome you to this first ever conference to be organized by our Environmental Sciences and Engineering Department. I would like to state some numbers for the benefit of people who have come from outside. We are 6.5 years young university, very multidisciplinary and research intensive university. We have 3 schools, School of Engineering and Sciences, Pari School of Business, and Ishwari School of Liberal Arts. Right now, our student strength is 7,000, more than 350 PhD scholars, 300 and more faculty members. We are growing, and all these faculty members have PhDs, and 40% of them have postdoctoral experience from around the world. Several departments, several programs, in all the disciplines which I just mentioned. Our Dean Research is also sitting here. He would have all the data, accurate data, but I have general data. More than 2,000 publications, 51% of them are in Q1 journals. More than 200 patents, 15 of them have been granted and awarded. It's all because of the faculty. And we believe that we have really good faculty on our campus, and therefore we are growing, and will continue to grow. Now, coming back to the theme of the conference, environmental sustainability, energy. These are very buzzwords these days. Huh? Everybody talks about sustainability, environment, energy, and whatnot. You know what? Adam and Eve came, the planet Earth, right? They were given a natural environment, right? And then they said, no, I mean, we have come here, we have to eat something, we have to wear something, we have to have a shelter. All those things they started thinking, because they have to live on this planet. And from there on, the journey started. And today we are at 8 billion people on this planet Earth. From those 2 to 8 billion, and when we talk of food, shelter, and living, how much destruction we have made to our environment, to that so quote unquote natural environment, you can imagine, right? We were happy in consuming fruits and vegetables, but now we are a generation of pizzas and burgers and all those things, so Nestle's and so many people, Maggie, these things are coming, but all these are bringing what? The factories, right? Creating pollution. Then people wanted to move from one place to another place, right? So vehicles started coming from Belgadi to now all kinds of transportation modes are there. Aircrafts are there. We are going to space through spacecrafts. Again, the whole atmosphere is getting polluted. We are talking of now this autonomous vehicles, driverless vehicles, all kind of electronics, everything is happening on this world. And all these things are really polluting the world in one way or the other. And then we started talking about environment, then came environmental science, then came environmental engineering, then came environmental management, then came environmental impact, then came environmental sustainability. Now we are talking about environmental sustainability. And what is environmental sustainability? Maintaining the ecological balance of the natural environment and conserving the natural resources of the planet. We are back to that thing. We started with that. We were having wonderful natural resources. Ecological balance was there when Adam and Eve was there, but now with 8 billion people, now we are back to square one, and we are now talking on defining that in a very fancy way, and then we are saying that now we have to be sustainable. We have to, this sustainability word has gone or intruded into every other thing. Everybody is using this sustainable word like anything. And 2015, UN said, okay, let's have sustainable development goals. And they gave us 17 goals, right? And today I was reading that, okay, they have a target in 2020, 2030, they should be, met, these 17 sustainable goals. But we are at only 15%. So, the point which I'm trying to make is that when we are now talking of net zero, carbon credit, zero defect, zero effect, all those things, these are indeed required, because now we have understood, realized that if we continue to play with the environment, these things will really not help my future generation. So therefore, it is very important that if we really have to serve 8 billion people on this planet, the way Adam and Eve were surviving at that time, I think we need to do a lot when it comes to environmental protection. And therefore, I believe that a gathering like this, who are experts in different disciplines of environmental sciences or environmental engineering, I think there's a lot to do, there is a lot to talk about, there's a lot to learn. And if we can solve some of these problems and guide the world how to protect the environment, I think we will be doing a lot of justice to our future generations. We need to wake up now. We have already spoiled a lot. But let this not be only the talks in the seminar halls and conference halls and classrooms. Can we practice it on the ground? Can we have these problems and solve it, really go to the communities, see what is happening there, and then do something for that? We may be talking about these things, climate change and all those things are important because we created. So we have to provide solutions. So to provide solutions, solutions cannot be provided in the classrooms. It should be outside. And therefore, whole my learning from now onwards, and I have been emphasizing this time and again, that learning may not be limited to only classroom, it should be outside the classroom. If that will happen, only then we will be able to solve these problems. The theories, the formulas are very much important. All can be obtained in a click of button these days. But how these can be implemented, how these can be used for serving the society, for making the society more, more happy, that's what we need to do. And I have a lot of hopes from the population in environmental sciences and engineering, whether they are students, whether they are faculty, whether they are scientists, whosoever they are. I think they need to work a lot and shake hands with other departments as much as they can, because alone they cannot solve all the problems. So they have to shake hand with management people, they have to shake hand with liberal arts people. I could see some liberal arts faculty sitting here. I think all of them have to come together and solve these big problems. Only then we will be able to survive the planet. I wish the organizers all the very best. I hope there will be some learning, and I use this word quite often. So there will be some learning, some recommendations from this conference on which we can work together. Thank you very much.
Now, directing our attention to the illuminating sessions ahead, I invite our organizing secretary, Dr. Pankaj Pathak, to provide an introduction of our esteemed keynote speaker, Professor Prakasham Tata.
It is a great pleasure and honor for me to introduce our keynote speaker, Professor Prakasham Tata, who has more than 6 decades of teaching, research, and professional experience in the field of water quality, wastewater treatment, and solid waste management. Professor Tata has obtained his PhD from Rutgers University, New Jersey in the year 1966. Then he served as a faculty member of Cornell University for 8 years. Further to his research expedition, he has received an honorable invitation from the Metro Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago to join their R&D development department. And from there, he was retired as assistant director and head of the Environmental Research and Monitoring Division. He has numerous publications and reports on his name, and also co-authored several books. He is a consultant to various national and international organizations such as UNDP, World Bank, National Academy of Science, etc. He is a member of American Academy of Environmental Engineers and Scientists and fellow of Water Environment Federation. He also served on their various committees. He received many awards, including reputed Edward Clary Award, prestigious Ellis Island Medal of Honor, and 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards. He is an active Rotarian and life member of Water and Sanitation Rotary Action Group. Presently, he is the Executive Director of the Center for the Transformation of Waste Technology and the President of Bharati Tirtha, and both are 501c3 non-profit organization dedicated to improvement of education, environment, and health of the poor. Professor Tata is instrumental in doing several charitable service projects in the field of education, environment, and health in science in India. Sir, with your permission, I would stop here as the session is insufficient for sharing your brief introduction while summarizing the recognition and exceptional milestone. The list of accolades is very long and highly motivating. Thank you for gracing us today on this occasion. With this, I would like to request you to enlighten and inspire us with your captivating thought. Over to you, sir.
So I love this group because when I looked at Rao Garu and Arora Saab and Prakash, my namesake, they exuded a lot of energy. And Prakash means we are comparing our notes, we are the light. He's only simply Prakash. I am Surya Prakash. Follow Surya Prakash. The light of the rising sun. Without Aditya, the planet cannot survive. You all know that. But anyway, let me not waste time. I'm not going to talk about too much about sustainability. I failed in my life because what I found 4 generations ago, I could not pass to the following generations. I think I'm a dismal failure. I started in this field 69 years ago when I was 19. And I was inspired then by great mentors. So I want to dedicate my talk. I will speak with a lot of emotion and spirit. Please pardon me for that at my age. I should not do that. I should be guiding you or doing something, giving you big advice or something. I don't want to do that. What I want to say is we are learning in this institute. I want to give a big hug to our Vice Chancellor because, please sir, come on. Because he said the thing is walk the talk. What we say in this institution should be given back. That's what I'm trying to do in my life. I will give you a historical perspective how our field developed, and where we are today, what are the emerging issues, and what an individual I did in my life to give back to the community. Okay? Let's quickly run this slideshow. It's a forward, right? Okay. See, many individuals talk a lot. That's what Arora Sahib said. We talk a lot about environment, pollution of water, climate change, public health, maternity and child welfare, poverty reduction, illiteracy, peace and conflict resolution. All these topics we talk. But what have done? Look at some of the factors causing the pollution of water. I'm restricting myself to water and sanitation because there's an Environmental Science and Engineering Conference. Population is increasing. As Arora Sahib said, we are 8 billion people today. When I left this country, India's population was 430. Now it is 1.4 billion. Lack of awareness and behavior of people. The other day I saw a gentleman, very nice suit, and then he chewed the gum and threw it away on the floor. Lack of adequate infrastructure for preventing and treatment of water and soil pollution. You know this. Everybody knows this. Lack of enforcement of regulations. We have tons of regulations, but we enforce them. When you have regulation, corruption creeps in. Enforcement lacks. Then not enough people, I'm sorry to say, I go to the political boards and talk with them. They are so handicapped for lack of people. At the organization I ran, I'm the head of the Department of R&D. I have 90 people in my group, 13 PhDs, including me. 6 secretaries and 1 secretary for myself. 2,000 people running 7 treatment plants of the Chicago metropolitan area. Here, the whole of AESEE, Pollution Control Board, do not have that many people. And even the professors, they ask for some instrumentation or something like that. They complain to me, the guys sit over there who are the funding agents, they do not give them the apparatus as quickly as they can. Our Prakash ji is telling me he is exciting all kinds of entrepreneurs. I love him for that. Because somebody is looking from there, I'm working here at the floor level. Anything that comes to a waste, I'm there to treat it. This is my bread and butter. That's my bread and butter. Corruption. Industry, so many industries are developing. Sir, if you find a gizmo, any industry that is polluting something, you should catch him by satellite and tell the government, put him in jail. That's what you can do. Agriculture, 70%. Our land depends, our farmers. They are migrating to urban areas. Climate change, we talked about emerging contaminants and pathogens. This is another thing. Corona-19 is a recent one. Bharat's population, I told you already, 42% of urban, 60% rural houses, Times of India report, contaminated water. 600 million people in Bharat are facing water stress. Water stress meaning what? 1,700 cubic meters per person. Water scarcity, 1,000 cubic meters per person. South Asia is facing water scarcity, believe me. Groundwater resources are depleting. We are drawing like crazy. If you find a piece of land, old house is demolished, and then 20 apartments are coming. Where 4 people are living, now 80 people are living. And now they have a water tower put there. In summer, I used to put bucket of water, only 3 gallons, because I had to pull it with a windlass. Now, since you have a water tower, you can sing Dixie and then take 3 times shower in a day. Because the water tower is there, groundwater has been depleted. You don't see this. Gupta Dhan, I call it. This is a hidden treasure, groundwater. Rural population moving to urban areas. Let's quickly go through this. This is all, 70% of the wastewater generated is not treated. We sent 130 satellites with 1 rocket. We do not have a lack of people, energy, intelligence, Vedic knowledge is coming from there. All the way today from universities like this. So it is not the lack of intelligence of people are doing things, but we are subjugated to some constraints. And if you unleash that, as Arora Sahib said, take it outside, the land will change in no time. Look at all these banned pesticides, pollution, plastic waste. I'm working on a plastic project here. There is money in Visakhapatnam. Now the new thing, emerging issues, is forever chemicals. These are the Teflons, when they get the Teflon, non-stick surfaces, right? We enjoyed it. So you put it in an omelette or something, it just falls off. That Teflon is banned. It's causing cancer. There are so many chemicals. You know, I asked my boss, I got to a government agency, Prakash, we are supposed to comply with these standards. We're not supposed to be doing research on forever chemicals. We don't have money for that. He was right. But in universities like this, you have the tenacity and the wisdom to apply for grants for the emerging contaminants. Rajbhashyam, let him do the work. He has a lot of students. Future areas of research you should be doing. Then, you know, already people like working, we have certain targets to fulfill, and we have to work on those things. But universities, knowledge centers, you can do these kinds of things. There were 4,500, nobody ever gave me a count of this PFAS and PFOS, exact number of compounds. There are thousands of them. At least somebody said 4,500 minimum. I don't know the actual number. They're there. They are all, you know, in cosmetics, fire retardant compounds, things like that. You can look at this. I don't know how much of these things exist in our wastewaters or sludges or whatever. Non-point source pollution, flood waters. This is a big problem. If you find a piece of land or a waterway, you build apartments. You encroach, even the ministers encroach and then put in the parks and their own apartments. And water finds its own way. If it doesn't, it will exert a lot of force to get into the ocean finally. And we're not catching it. It's another problem. How can you sustain greenhouse gas emissions? Everybody talks about this. Rao Saab said exactly what he said about this. I like him for that because he condensed it, the climate change problem in such a short speech. Thank you, sir, for that. Inadequate enforcement regulations, I told you. So we have no lack of technologies. We have technologies. They asked me, Prakash, do you have any new technology? Baba, you cannot even operate a septic tank. Why do you want new technology? Huh? Plenty of intelligent engineers, scientists, sociologists, and economists to select appropriate technologies for implementation. We have plenty of them. I'm just a nitwit. I'm nothing, big zero. I had to go to America to earn my living. I couldn't find a job in India. At the age of 20, 21, I was asking about the environment. No job, I want sanitation without any problems. Publish a paper in American journal, you go, Baba, you go there into America. My advisor told me like that. You publish a paper and go to America. This is the thing. I wanted to talk about photovoltaics when I was 22 for solar. Now they are talking about solar. And my boss told me, you shut up and work on some microorganisms in the lab. Go, Prakash, go to America. You can't do anything. He himself was telling me like that. Go to America and do things like that. Now we cannot do it right here. Now I'm at the age I can tell you this. At that time, if I said that thing, he would have shot me dead. We have so many environmental policy and acts concerning drinking water standards and wastewater treatment, effluent discharge standards, groundwater protection, industrial waste discharge standards, solid waste management rules, and everything, they're all there. You don't have to look. It is nothing but a condensation between the European standards and the American standards, EPA. We don't have to discover anything if we only implement the wisdom, take the distillate out of all these things and use it for Indian purposes. You don't have to go to America. You bring me here. I'll work for nothing. So let us see how the environmental drivers promoted the development of technologies during various periods. Because students, I love you. Because you should know your history, otherwise you're doomed. So let me go quickly what our field is guided by disasters, followed by regulations, and then promotion into the environment to change their behavior. It is too late at that time. This is what happens. Now look at the period, late 1800, 1930, outbreaks of waterborne disease. These are the causes that drove those technologies. Pit trees, cesspools, septic tank, dumps, landfills, composting, construction of sewers, dilution of solution to pollution. This is great. In India, Visakhapatnam people were telling that solution to pollution dilution. We have a big ocean. Put everything in there. Get it there. One ocean has a life, as you were telling. You can't do that. Beginning of primary treatment. Building of treatment plants, slow and rapid sand filters, rock filters, activated sludge plants. 1914, activated sludge was invented. Today, still it is driving force. 1930 to 1950s, detrimental effects of industrial waste, detrimental effects of detergents, the alkyl benzene sulfonates. Now they're, of course, not there in that much anymore. need to produce high-quality effluents for maintaining downstream water quality, increase regulation control. Because when pollution problems happen, regulations come in. Otherwise, they don't do it. Innovation, if you print a little cell phone, people will buy it. But if you say I have a good latrine, what? It won't work. So all those things, technology developed as per the needs of the day. 1950 to 1980, increased control of industrial waste discharge because industrial revolution, but a lot of industries are coming in. This is what happens. Enactment of various acts, requirements of nutrient and carbon control. Nutrients are now polluting, eutrophication started to occur. People are watching that. NPDES limits, national pollutant discharge effluent limits, standards, they were evolved. Because you can't push in so much of pollutants into the water bodies, okay? So you have to control them. Now you develop standards. Now you don't have to develop standards here. We have all these standards already. They found out what the effects of all these pollutants in water bodies. They want to remove nitrogen and phosphorus. I see a lot of value in them. They want to make clear effluents. But why can't we irrigate those effluents instead of giving fresh groundwater to the farmers? Huh? Think about it. Dwindling water supplies and population increasing in hot climates, arid climates. These are the technologies that developed. So there is a relationship with the problem and then development of technologies. Same thing. Prakash ji will enlighten about his field. Excellent. We need the command of the space. I got enthused because this morning, every day I want to learn something. Today, I learned something from Prakash. That we want to be number 5 at least. In how many years, sir? We want to be number 5 in space.
Yes, we are number 5.
How many years?
In almost 50 years.
See? That's the kind of thing I like. His name is Prakash. Give a big hand to him. I learned from him that. 1980 till today. These are all the things happening. This you should know as students of environmental science and engineering, why these technologies were developed. Why we are going back to sustainability. I went with a bag to bring my vegetables from my mom asked me to go to the market. But now I get a carry bag. I'll go, the damn plastic bag is on the street next morning. Huh? So these things, what is sustainability? We were sustainable long time ago. Now we hear cleaner product, these are all available. Implementation of greater degree of advanced wastewater treatment, biological nutrient removal, absorption technology advances in oxidation process, class B, class A, and equal sludge treatment technologies, biosolids. We know all these standards. We developed these standards in America. I'm a part of that process. Now, lately we're talking about circular economy, another buzzword. My mom and grandmother, her grandmother practiced sustainable technology environment. Look at this. Waste, we collected treatment, anaerobic digestion, biogas, you get the residue, fertilizers, crops, in aquaculture, the residue can get that, can grow in aquaculture, fish and all that kind of stuff. Algae, animal feed, effluent, stormwater pond, retention pond, take the stormwater effluent, irrigation of crops. My mom in her own little house, at that time we have inlets to pick the water from the well. Only one little bucket, because you know it takes a lot of energy to pull water. I'm a lazy guy, so I put one bucket and I conserve water. I took my bath nicely. But now you can whistle and you have water tank, water is coming and shower, and then you do this 3 times. Particularly in Vijayawada climate, very hot, humid. So very sustainability. Huh? Groundwater is being depleted. So you can do a lot of things. This was, my mother was practicing. That little water she channel lays into a banana grove and a coconut tree. And also she is good kundru, you know, this little thing that happened, Dondakalanta. So we never bought vegetables for 9 months in our house. For 3 months in the arid climate, we have very little money. Okay? We to do that. Now we have got a reliance and we're going to buy everything what you want. I don't know how much water they're wasting. However, in spite of the existence of various technologies, regulations, and policies, why many sewage treatment plants in India? At one time in Prakash Javadekar, another Prakash sir, I sat next to him like you are there. This is a great thing. This is recurrence. At that time, Prakash Javadekar was the Center for Minister of Environment, Forestry, and Climate Change. I was a guest of honor. He was the chief speaker. And I asked him, Prakash ji, you have 2 things in common. Your name is Prakash, my name is Prakash. And you are also environment minister. I'm in the environment business for a long time. So let me ask you a question. How many sewage treatment plants, this was many years ago, How many sewage treatment plants there in India that were built? He said something close to 900. 80 of them are shut down, not working at all. And about 80% of them don't comply with the discharge standards. They spent crores of rupees. Now the latest statistic by the Central Pollution Control Board is they built something like 1,020 or something like that. 102 of them don't work. They shut down. Why do we build? To shut them down? Give me a break. It's your money, man. Your taxpayers' money. All these programs, this pathakam, that pathakam, this anna, that anna, everybody is anna these days. Whose money it is? It's your money. You sell BDs, that guy doesn't know. He's paying taxes. That is the money given back to them, and so that they don't get educated, they vote. This is the way it is. So how do you sustain anything? In my opinion, this is my opinion only, it is the lack of adequate number of pollution control board staff members to monitor existing sewage treatment plants, industrial waste treatment facilities, and enforce regulations. They don't have staff. They're there to push files. Sorry to say that they tell me that. Sir, we are here. My chief engineer of AESEE is my good friend. He was a great engineer. He actually looks at the calculations. He doesn't sign a file and send it away. That man was telling we don't have staff. Poor guy. Trained personnel are not. Nobody is there. A lot of trained persons, we need operators, skilled operators we need. We don't have them. Corruption, lack of people's cooperation. Many think it is the job of the government. You are the government. If you don't cooperate, those people are helpless. They may be corrupt, that's a different story. But they don't have adequate staff to do the job. People like us should actually take up a project and demonstrate to our neighbors and leaders that we care to the academic institutions. You, the youth force, take up a project, check dam, build something, a tube well, whatever, little projects. I will tell you, introduce a friend of mine to this school who is doing this kind of stuff, giving money to do small projects. So, let us walk our talks. As a Rotarian, I do it with passion, my age at 88. I'm proud to do this. Let me see if I have. Look at this. I did all these projects when I retired. Deliberately, I have one more job to go. I could have been like Prakash, a director. But I stopped at the assistant director level because at the director level, I wouldn't be able to do anything. Because I will be working, who is coming, who is going, the biometrics, who is coming there to the, like police. My God, I don't want to do that. So I stopped. My wife, this lady is sitting over there, she cooks my meal, and I have a bed to sleep. My kids are gone. Why do you need money? I get a small pension. That's enough for me. So I retired deliberately in 2002 to do the projects, walking the talk. I did all this. Remediation of the pollution. This morning, I was driving into Karthikeyan, and he's doing a microalgae project. I told him I did something you should learn from this. And where there were no fish, in this thing fish came. The smell is gone. The filariasis is depleted. So science and engineering don't lie. It's the people. Ineptitude. Lack of initiative to do the work. Curbing their attitude even if they do it. Somebody said, don't do it. There's no time for them to do something else to do. I did construction of water sanitation. I remediated the pollution of man-made lake in my own town. I want to give back to the land of my birth, particularly the city of the birth, because I cannot travel too much, Don't have money to travel. I go and see my sister in Vijayanagara. So I bugged the hell out of the district collector. Finally, we did it. We remediated the pollution of a lake, 170 million acres. I construct, this is another dream of mine. At the age of 19 in Bengal, young ladies were going to openly defecate in the field. 2 people died out of snake bites. My dream was to build a water and sanitation complex for men and women of very poor origin, which I did in 2003 and 2004 in Vijayanagaram, in a small village of 400 people, SC and the ST community. Provided solar electricity, did lanterns. We'll talk about solargy, Prakashji was telling. I said, that was the dream of at the age of 21. There were no lights in Uttar Pradesh. I want a clone of mine. I found a lady there, young lady, Deen Dayal Research Institute. Uncle, I will do it for you. So I raised money, $25,000. gave solar lanterns in 8 villages. They have kerosene lanterns. They're spending 120 rupees in those days for kerosene. 3 hours of light, burning. Sometimes they burn their hands. Here I said, would you mind if I gave you a solar light for 60 rupees worth of kerosene? That is 60 rupees lease. And then a charging says, we apply 2 ladies, 5th grade. Would you use those lanterns nicely? Send the light by the child for getting charged. In the evening you take it, 6 hours of light it gives you. Big deal, right? Instead of 3 hours, you get 6 hours of light, and 120 hours of kerosene, you get only 60 rupees you have to spend. And another fellow who is older than me, Sondiji, Prakash, I will sit down in the village in Chhatrapur. I will do that. No, sir, you sit there, motivate the people. But when we do this, Manmohan Singh ji put $1 billion campaign. Then we will go and ask them, you know what? People listen to you when you show them the things. There is a lady, Akanksha, now I still remember her, and she came and we showed the project. She gave us $75,000 worth of equipment. For $25,000, which I raised to Rotary International, built the solar, gave them 8 villages solar lanterns. That lady, seeing that thing, she gave us $75,000 worth of equipment. I said, look, I don't need money. I don't need that. Gave me the equipment, what I'm showing you here, in these 8 villages. She gave that. Then it expanded to 44 villages. If Prakash Chadha can do it, why can't you do it? Huh? That's the question I ask. I'm sure Aroraji will like. So like this, I did so much computer-related learning center, cyclone victims in Manapuram. I distributed things, provided cancer diagnostic treatment equipment. Here in Hyderabad itself, we put a dialysis center because I'm proud of my background in education and environmental health. Environment, if you keep a good environment, health also will improve. I'll go through some things in quickly slides, I think, here. So what to say? This is the tank remediated. This is a 4 crore project. They want to build an active sludge plant for $10 million. I said no. I succeeded in this. This is how we built, we modified this tank, like tank bund in Hyderabad. What in the talk? These are the things you do. Create awareness, communicate effectively the benefits of your eco-technological projects. Believe in yourself first to create trust in others. That you are a doer, not just a talker. Have the passion to improve the environment and ecology. Be persistent in your efforts. Try to achieve perfection. Ensure the operation and maintenance of the projects completed. This one is, I strive hard to follow the above principles, even today. This is the literary complex I built for men and women in that village. These are the people, I sat with them. I said, I'm a Brahmin. You are SCs and SC people. We made you suffer, that's what I was told. But I want to, this is my paschatap. I'm going to give you the letter, we'll use it. I hugged them, sat with them 15 times before I got this project done, $45,000. These guys did that. Solar lanterns, we to tell them about awareness creation. Solar land, beautiful ladies, look at this. This is the dialysis center we did in Hyderabad. This is the Manapuram project, Hudud. I distributed these things for them, the environmental disaster that happened over there because of Hudud. Again, this is a cancer treatment project we did in Visakhapatnam. I raised money, about 1.3 crores for this equipment at the Baba Center there. So walking in the talk about organizing seminars, workshops, conferences, award ceremonies, etc., to motivate and create awareness and behavioral change. This is what you're doing, sir. Thank you very much. God bless you all for doing this. Because these students tomorrow, each one of you pledge yourself that you will do at least one project on your street or in your village, whatever that is. Are you with me? Raise your hand. Who are with me? Okay. God bless you all. World Water Day is next week. Please raise your hands. These are the kinds of things I do, seminars and these are, sorry, this one is going back. So my parting words to you, my friends. Passion. You have to have the passion to do anything first. You want to get a gold medal in your degree, have the passion to get the gold medal. Persist. You have to be persistent like me. I learned this from my professors. He said, you be persistent. Otherwise you lose. Amma, you make your students persistent. Bhashyam, you too. And then perfection. Says who? Prakash! 4 P's. Remember those. Say after me, passion. Okay, loud enough. Passion. Persistence. Perfection. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. I invite our organizing secretary, Dr. Subhashri, to introduce our honorable chief guest of the day, Dr. Prakash Chauhan, to the audience.
It's a great honor to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Prakash Chauhan, who is currently serving as the Director of National Remote Sensing Center, Indian Space Research Organization. He obtained his postgraduate degree in Applied Geophysics from University of Roorkee, now Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee, and PhD in Physics from Gujarat University. Prior to joining NRSC, he was the director at the Indian Institute of Remote Sensing, Dehradun. He joined ISRO at Space Application Center, Ahmedabad as a scientist, and since then has initiated several research activities for planetary remote sensing. He has also served there as a group director for Biological and Planetary Sciences Group. He has been working on various areas of Earth observation applications, including aerosol remote sensing, coastal zone management, understanding the climate response of Himalayan cryosphere, etc. He has also done lead work in Indian planetary missions such as Chandrayaan-2 and Chandrayaan-1. He has also spearheaded several activities for research and capacity building in remote sensing and geoinformatics for societal applications in India. He has published more than 150 peer-reviewed papers in national and international journals, and he is currently the fellow of the National Academy of Science, Indian Society of Remote Sensing, and Indian Social Science Academy. He has won several accolades, including the prestigious ISRO Merit Award, Satish Dhawan Award, 2023 Asia Pacific Region Excellence in Space Award, etc., to name a few. It is indeed an honor to have you with us, sir. Now I invite you to please address the gathering.
Most respected Vice Chancellor of SRM University over here, Professor Manoj Arora ji, and my old friend and colleague from Roorkee days, Professor Prakasham Tata ji. We all heard him. I think we should give one more round of applause to the kind of energy. You know, when I stand over here, he's told he's 89. I am 54. But you see, the kind of energy I cannot match, so I feel nervous, you know. Thank you. Professor V.S. Rao, advisor to the university and the former Vice Chancellor, all the dignitaries sitting on the dais, the head of the department and the other deans, and of course all the senior faculty members, participants, and most importantly all the young students, those who are participating in this first international conference on a very important topic in advances in environmental sustainability, energy, and earth sciences. Good morning to you all and my greetings to each one of you. First and foremost, I would like to thank Professor Arora for inviting me over here to see this campus as well as to be part of this wonderful ceremony. And of course, to listen to Professor Prakasham Tata ji this morning, the wonderful, exciting talk and the 3 P's, the mantra he has told, So thank you very much, Professor Arora, for this opportunity. I started my career in Department of Space in India, we call it. There is a department, under the department we have an institution called Indian Space Research Organization. I joined that organization almost 33 years back after studying from Department of Earth Sciences. In those days it used to be called University of Roorkee. And let me tell you, I landed to a place where I had no formal training. I started working in the field of remote sensing, which I have not studied in my master's class. That's what I was telling in the morning. So life is full of surprises. You plan something else and then you end up somewhere else. And now today I'm heading one of the largest institutions in this country which deals with this subject of satellite-based, aerial-based, UAV-based remote sensing domain. So don't restrict yourself to one particular idea. You may be reading something, you may be doing today something, but you may end up doing very different. So keep your mind open to various ideas. That's what is the purpose of many of these conferences. And that's how the organizers tries to bring, large amount of people with diversity in terms of their work, in terms of their, knowledge, in terms of the fields in which they have, worked over a period of time. And we heard in the morning all the senior speakers, the kind of thoughts they have told about this very important topic of sustainable development, and of course, the associated themes of energy and earth sciences. So I will start as in earth sciences with this last catching word, earth sciences. We all live in this wonderful solar system, and the god of our solar system is sun, Surya. Without Surya, nothing is possible. And we have all these beautiful planets around us, and our own planet, the Mother Earth. Why we call it Mother? Because Mother is supposed to nourish you. It's supposed to, keep yourself when you are growing in her womb. And then once you are there on this planet, to take care, nurture you, and then support all the needs. For a mother, the child never grows up. So that's why this planet is called, and we call it Mother Earth, because this is the planet which is sustaining us, which is providing virtually everything, virtually whatever you do on this, in your day-to-day affairs, starting from your birth till you die, all the needs of your day-to-day life is served by Mother Earth, or Earth as a planet. It gives you water, it gives you air, it gives the oxygen to you, it gives you food, which comes from plants, which may be coming from animals also, but primarily the only producer of the food in this world are plants. That's why they are called autotrophs. They can produce their own food. We cannot produce our own food. We are all surviving on that. And then, of course, for our sustenance, for our shelter, all the rocks and minerals we all get from this Mother Earth. We all get our clothes, the fibers from the Mother Earth, from the plants, and from even animals like silk, etc. So everything, whatever we do is coming from this earth. So that's why we need to know about our own planet. In ISRO, you must be knowing nowadays that ISRO has become very popular since last 1 year, simply because we have done some landing on moon, and then, the moon landing became so famous, I think all of you must have watched it live. That broke all the records on the YouTube, and India became the first country to land in the southern polar region of the moon, which even the Russians and Americans could not do. So I think you should give some clap for that. So moon and earth are basically part of same system. It's called the Earth-Moon system, because moon is the only natural satellite of Earth. It is only 385,000 kilometers away from us, and it follows the earth. Wherever earth goes, the moon also will go around it. So it's the same system. Morning, professor talked about our population is growing. We are now reaching around 8 billion. And the kind of resources which we are requiring for our sustenance on this planet Earth, a study has been done. The way our population is growing and the way we are moving towards, the consumption-driven society. The biggest consumption-driven societies are in the West, Americas, Europe. India is nothing in front of them, but we are having that aspiration. We talked of circular things. We were having all circular things in our life. Morning I was talking to them. The best example of sustainability and circular way of living is in India. And very simple thing we do every day in the morning by washing our clothes and putting in the sun in our balconies. Imagine that practice is not there if you go to US or to Europe. Most of them, they will be drying their clothes by using electricity. Imagine if 1.4 billion people of India starts using only electricity for this, what will be our carbon footprint? So this is the biggest example of India's life of living in a sustainable manner. Circularity of resources. Many of us grown in that environment, when even the clothes of the elder brother were used by the younger brothers. The books of the elder brother were used by the younger brother. So that concept is there in our society from the very beginning. So now, anyway, somebody from outside is teaching us all this thing, and we are also happily listening to that without telling that we are all doing this, and you people are telling us you are the most consumption-driven society. So if the way things are happening and the consumption is increasing, the study says this one Earth will not be sufficient for us. We will require 1.5 Earth. So from where this 0.5 Earth is going to come? Earth is having finite resources. So now people have started talking that this 0.5 Earth will come from moon. This moon is not far away. Our scientists, space scientists have developed technology, what we call a space transportation system. You can reach to moon in 3 days. What is 3 days? Kanyakumari to Kashmir, if you sit in a train in India, it takes 3 days. So you go there, bring some 1 or 2 trucks of moon rocks back to Earth, and it has large amount of helium because it is trapped into these rocks, and then you do some kind of nuclear fusion technology, and then your energy needs are over. So that's why the race for the moon has also started. You must have seen of late, many countries are starting lunar exploration program. It all started with Apollo mission in 1969. Some of you can say that, what is so great? America landed humans in 69 on moon. You are landing an unmanned vehicle today. Is it worth mentioning? Definitely it is worth mentioning, especially in case of a country like India, which has been robbed for centuries. Not only its cultural values, not only its wealth, but we have been robbed of psychological manner also. When British came in this country, it used to provide 25% of GDP of the world. In 1947, when British left, India's contribution to global GDP was less than 1%. Our education system was defined by these people. And the Macaulay's education policy, the only aim was to kill the psychology of the local Indian people. This event became a landmark event where we could prove as a country, it's not a success of some few scientists in ISRO or something. We could show to the world that the people of this country can do it with limited resources, with the knowledge which we have developed in-house. Today we talk of Atmanirbharta, but we at Department of Space in ISRO, Professor Vikram Sarabhai started talking that Atmanirbharta 50 years back when we started developing our own space program, in spite of all the criticism that why a country, poor country like India, those days even, 2 times food was not available. Lal Bahadur Shastri told that please eat only one time, so because the wheat was not there. This is just before the Green Revolution came. Of course, today we have surplus food in this country. That's the different issue. So, but that time, you need a very courageous, visionary man to say that we want to start a space program of India, not to compete with Americans or with Russians, but to do the societal development of our own country. That was the vision. And with the satellite technology, he started with a satellite which was loaned by Americans, and then, few camera sets which were given by some Russians and some French people. He started developing the education program using satellite, communication system way back in 1969-70. On Belgadis, these TV sets, many of you young people, most of you are less than 35 years of age. You must have not even imagined, in those days, I was a young boy, I have seen that in villages and all on some trucks or Belgadis, some TV sets will go, and then people will watch some kind of, education program and all. Even television was not there in this country. So from there, the television-based instruction education started. And then subsequently telehealth, tele-education, and then remote sensing program. We started, sending our own satellites so that we can keep an eye on our natural resources. So all these concepts of, managing earth resources or the resources of the earth in sustainable development, sustainable manner started, all those ideas started in our own country almost 3 to 4 decades back. However, it's a very different thing that we have had those knowledge and wisdom with us, but we have not implemented, or you don't see a proper will or the willingness to implement all the rules, regulations on the ground. And that's what Professor was talking about, the Pollution Control Board. With all regulations, with all rules, with all knowledge, we are sitting like this, seeing all these things happening around us, but we are not talking. Even the common people are not talking. We see some, garbage lying over here. Most of us, what we will do? Oh, very dirty place. Just, turn our neck this side and then walk away. So that has become our attitude. So that is what he says, you have to walk the talk. You have to do it by your actions. Nobody will come and do it for you. It's not that we don't know. So these are all some of the things of sustainability which we have been, taught and which is there in our ethos and culture. Now in the modern context, the sustainability means that this generation should utilize the natural resources in a way that we leave enough resources for our future generations. That's what the meaning of sustainability is. Today, if you exploit all the groundwater, which is happening, states like Punjab, Haryana, Western UP, blocks after blocks are dry blocks actually. They have been declared in some of the states, this groundwater is depleted to an extent that the bore wells have become dry. You must have seen in Bangalore itself, thousands of bore wells has become dry, people are not getting water. So if that is the situation, what will happen to the future generations? So for that, you have to bring technology, as Prakasham Sahab told. You have to think of strategies like roof water harvesting, water harvesting structures. The rain which brings large amount of water, most of this water runs off into rivers and then ultimately it goes into the ocean along with all the pollutions which we are creating. So if we can have technological interventions and try to get all this water which is basically running off, arrest it and then put into the groundwater reservoirs, we can replenish this. People are talking nowadays of water circularity. All the sewage treatment plant he was talking about is not working, but now there is a new renaissance in India that at least people not only talking but they are doing also. Even people are doing at the housing societies level. I know there are many housing societies in Hyderabad and other big cities where all the water which is coming out of the sewerage, coming out of from your flushes, from your washrooms, is getting recirculated by a small micro STP plants which have been put up in the colonies. They are treating this water and at least using it for gardening purpose, if not for drinking water purpose. This already started happening. So there is a hope, and the hope is all these people, the sitting in the back, the younger guys, which is basically we see that some of us in previous generations have not taken cognizance of many of these things because the priorities were very different. But now I think that, the younger generation, that they are much, much conscious about some of these aspects and things are going to change. The future is going to be very bright for all of us if we do many of these things in a proper manner, in a scientific manner. The third aspect is the climate change aspect. Now the climate change is again a creation of our own, as was told by previous speakers. The hydrocarbon-based economy on which the entire world is running today, this hydrocarbons which we extract from the earth itself, from the deeper confines of the earth, this hydrocarbon or the carbon basically has got sequestered in billions of years of geological process. And what we did after Industrial Revolution, in last 60 or 65 years, we have brought out all that hidden carbon which has gone and sequestered into the lower levels of the earth and then burnt it in our factories, in our vehicles and released that carbon into the atmosphere. In 1995, if you look at the CO2 trends in the atmosphere, the carbon dioxide concentration was only 350 parts per million, 350 ppm. Today at Hyderabad, my observatory, we are making measurements of atmospheric CO2. Last 20 years data is available. The current CO2 level around this area, CO2 is a well-mixed gas, so the concentration are pretty uniform, is 422 ppm. From 350 ppm, it has gone to 422 ppm. And carbon dioxide, as you know, it's a greenhouse gas. All of you know what is greenhouse effect. If you continue to increase the CO2 level, then definitely the radiation, which basically goes out of the Earth's surface, as emissions into the longer wavelength does not go out, and then you have this, the enhanced heating effects, and that's what is happening around many of our city systems, especially in the urban areas, where you have other effects like what we call as the local urban, warming effects also. There is another animal in house which people are not talking or not aware also, many of them, but it has, 25 times much worse potential of greenhouse effect compared to CO2, and that is methane, CH4. Methane is being emitted rampantly today by various industries, including the hydrocarbon and the oil and gas industry. And of course, by our anthropogenic activities, Americans and Europeans are blaming us, all Eastern Asian countries, that you people are eating rice and you are all emanating large amount of methane because of the bacterial degradation in the rice fields. Because the water is there, the methane gets emitted. It's correct, it gets emitted. But the methane emission due to industrialization is much, much higher compared to what you do with the anaerobic reactions in the rice fields of East Asia. We cannot change our eating practice for that. So there is another effect, which is a cascading effect, which is basically becoming very pronounced, is the melting of the permafrost region in Siberia, in Canada, and in the Arctic region. These permafrost layers of Earth, they are basically the layers which are very cold, and they have remained, cold over a period of time. Now, as the warming enhances, these cold layers of the upper soil are also, showing the increase in temperature. And large amount of organic material is trapped in this permafrost, and as melts, this methane which is trapped inside it basically is simply getting released into the atmosphere. So that is going to be a bigger problem than even the CO2 problem, this catastrophic cycle of methane. So what we should do? From space, I can tell you that you need data to make observations on large scale. You can put some, measurement stations here and there. In India now, big networks of, gaseous emissions, the data collection of both, pollution, gaseous pollution as well as particulate pollution in air and the water pollution. Many of the sensors also may not work, but there is an effort going on. But we are also sending satellites in space which can provide you quick data over a rapid time scale. So today we have capability to make measurements of CO2 and methane from space-based platforms, from the satellite systems. And over India, I can tell you that maximum amount of gaseous pollution in terms of CO2, CH3, SOx and NOx are happening over the thermal power stations, the coal plants, where we are burning rampantly the coal to produce electricity. So we need to get out of this business of hydrocarbon-based economy. We have to move towards greener economy. People are talking now solar energy. People are talking wind energy. Professor talked about the role of the oceans. We have launched a satellite called OceanSat-3. Some of you can do a Google. Recently there was a tweet from ISRO. The oceans, which basically have 70% of Earth area, and as he told, absorbs almost the 50% of carbon dioxide into the into the upper layer of the ocean, and some of that get permanently removed. It happens because of the phytoplanktons, the tiny microscopic plant. You can see those algae in your lakes also. Basically takes all this atmospheric CO2, brings it down into the oceanic layers and dumps it permanently into the ocean. We are keeping eye on this phytoplankton growth in the oceans over a long period of time so that we can assess that how much of carbon dioxide is getting sequestered into the ocean to understand this total carbon cycle. That's the kind of measurement systems we are developing from space today. Some of you can look this data. Most of this data is freely available. Many of you, those who are working in the field of environmental research, can use this data to basically see that what kind of atmospheric pollution trends are there over different cities, over different regions, etc. That's the agent of climate change, the greenhouse gases, how you can monitor them using space technology and the ground-based measurement. But the second most important aspect is the indicators of changing climate. What are the indicators of changing climate? That comes by understanding the response of various ecosystems to increasing temperatures. That tells you, yes, the climate is really changing. Some people don't believe that climate is changing. The Trump says that there is no climate change. But there are fragile ecosystems on Earth which are showing you the indicators, or whenever you have fever, you basically make measurements of your body temperature. Similar way, the scientists are making the measurements of the indicators of climate change on fragile ecosystems. One of the most fragile ecosystem, especially in Indian context, is the Himalayan snow and glacier regime. Himalaya is known as the third pole of the world. It is the third largest reservoir of fresh water on Earth after Arctic and Antarctic, the Greenland ice fields and Antarctic. Today, if you take last 30 years of satellite data and see that what has been happening to these glaciers, which are storing this frozen ice, and most of the Indian rivers like Bhagirathi, Indus, they all originate through these glacial systems. Glaciers are rapidly receding. The Bhagirathi glacier, from where the Ganga originates, in last 30 years has receded more than 1 kilometer or so. And every year it is receding with a rate of 50 meters or so today. That means it is permanently losing the ice, which basically gives, the water, which basically from the frozen water, when it melts, it goes into the river system. So we are facing a threat that in future, the sustainability of the water resources on most of these Indian, North Indian rivers, which are basically feeding to billions of people, what is going to happen to that? Apart from that, there is another threat which is happening. Many of these glaciers, in front of their mouth, they are developing glacial lakes. And these glacial lakes are rapidly expanding. Some of you must have heard in news in the October last year, there was a glacial lake outburst flood in Sikkim. There is a lake called Lonak Lake. This lake is just in front of a glacier, and in 30 years, the area of the glacial lake has tripled. It has increased 3 times, and it is bound to burst. And one nice evening, there was a large amount of rainfall and snow, and a heavy avalanche has happened, and huge ice mass has fallen into the lake water, and the lake basically got breached, and more than 200 people basically got killed within 1 hour, and the one hydropower plant basically got diminished. 5,000 crore rupees gone. So that's what is basically now being called today is the climate resilient infrastructure. You have to be sensitive to this ecosystem. If you want to do development around those ecosystems, you should know that what type of natural hazards are sitting in these areas which can basically vanish your infrastructure, develop whatever money you have spent over that area. So this is where the talk of, adapting to the changing climate comes up. And large amount of data which is coming from the ground-based observations as well as from these space systems is very much useful in terms of understanding the risks of various ecosystems to various natural disasters. And when you do planning, you need to account all this data to understand the kind of risk and vulnerability it poses to your infrastructure. So that's where we have to now think about climate change is real, it's going to be here. Even if we talk of zero carbon emissions, we are saying by 2070, India says that we will become a zero carbon neutral, country. But CO2 is such a long-lived gas. Even if today we stop all the emissions, it takes 70 years for decomposition of this CO2, which is already there in the atmosphere. It doesn't go away so fast. So the problem is going to last much longer. So that's where we need to now think that how we can adapt to this changing climate. We need to have data for developing this risk strategy and adopt our system. All the coastal areas, you are sitting very close to coast. The sea level is rising. How do we came to know the sea level is rising? Of course, we have tide gauges, but the data from this tide gauges is very sparse. So scientists, space scientists have developed systems called altimeters. These altimeters are nothing but like a laser altimeter you use, in your presentations and all. It sends a laser pulse and then it reflects back and tells you the distance. So same way we have made radar-based altimeters. It sends a radar pulse back to the earth, and then when this pulse bounces back, we can measure it at the space platform. By making such fine, precise measurements, the scientists have calculated that the sea level is rising with almost, 3 to 4 millimeters per year. And now, since 1955 or so, at most of the places, there is a threat that already the sea level has risen at least 30 centimeter to 50 centimeter, and it is perceived by 2070 or so, some areas will have even 1 meter sea level rise. Now you can imagine if the sea level is going to rise, low-lying areas, countries like Maldives, countries Sundarban Delta, or many of these deltaic systems over Indian coast also will be under water. Now you have to develop the strategy. If you are going to make a nuclear power plant, or you are going to set up an industry for next 50 years, you need to consider that if sea level rises, whether my installation will not be underwater. That's what is called the climate resilient infrastructure development. All this analysis now the younger generation has to do. One more thing I wanted to tell you, because all of you are sitting here, you have your future careers, most of you are technology people, and I come from space community in India. In India, the government has taken very liberal steps. Till date, space was a very sacred strategic sector. But in 2023, Government of India has done the reform, and they have opened up the space sector for public as well as private participation. What does it mean? That the space activity, including making rockets, developing satellites, sensors, downloading this data, applications of this in water, agriculture, various other sectors, will no longer be limited only in the government laboratories. In last 2.5 years, more than 200 startup companies in India has been formed. By whom? By all these young people, those who are coming out of colleges. They are bubbling with energy with Professor Surya Prakash has, So, they are the real karma yogis. They are not only talking, they are basically walking the talk. They are showing, younger generation is showing that we simply don't talk, we do things. And all these 200 startup companies, there are startup companies who are now developing rockets by private sector in India, developing satellites in India, and then doing applications of these technologies. And large amount of youths are getting employed, and there is a support ecosystem by Government of India for incubation of these startups also. So that's one message I want to give you, that this new startup culture, where exactly we are able to show to the world that yes, we can do it, and we can basically innovate on certain technology ideas, and that innovation can lead to monetization and economic development, is now started happening in the country. When professor says that 50 years back or something, that professor told me go to America, but I think today no professor tells to a youngster that you go to America. Many of them are coming back from America. That's the difference which has been happening today. And I can tell you that with this kind of environment today in the country, and the energy of the youth, India is the country which has the largest the young generation in the world. That's what we call as the population dividend is there with us. And this will remain there for next 30 years or so. After 30 years, we also will become like Japan or something, maybe an aging country. So these next 25, 30 years is our time. And all these young people, raise your hands, those who are 35 years and below. Yeah, you see, most of them are like that. So these are the people who are going to transform the country for next 25 years. And that's what is the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji when he says that by 2047, India should become Viksit Bharat. And that is what is the hope. You are the hope. If we lose this next 35 years, we are going to be in trouble, because our population will be an aging population like you are facing in Japan and many of the European countries. So friends, this type of seminar and symposium, and I see that there are large amount of publication papers which you are bringing, and you are going to talk about some of these very critical issues of environment, sustainability, climate resilient. Developing a climate resilient society is a very, very important topic, and this will remain valid for many years to come. So some of you, those who are investing your time and future in this, definitely you are on the right track, and I must congratulate the organizers of this conference, including our Honorable Vice Chancellor Saabs, to bring this topic over here and bring all of you so that you can start doing manthan I know there are a lot of NGOs and startup companies, those who are investing in the solid waste management in India today. There is a gentleman, he is called the Pond Man of India, a young boy, he is a 35-year-old boy. He is transforming all the water bodies by single-handed, commitment and determination with very minimal support from Government of India. He basically adopts few ponds and then removes the algae, removes the plastic, and then make those, replenish those water bodies. Some of you can join such type of, initiatives, and not only it provides you employment, he is not doing free of cost. He is basically funded by a lot of CSR activities, a lot of governmental activities, but he is doing it on the ground so that our environment can become much cleaner and greener, and we can live in, a very green world as well as under the blue skies. With these words, I would like to thank each one of you and wish you all the very best for this conference and for your future endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable and motivational words. As we proceed with this remarkable lineup, we are assured of an enriching and insightful session. Thank you to each of our esteemed speakers for being an integral part of AESEE 2024. Now let us proceed to the grand inauguration of AESEE 2024, marked by the unveiling of the abstract book. I kindly invite the organizing secretary of AESEE 2024, Dr. Javed Ahmeddar, to provide a comprehensive overview of the abstract book.
It's a great privilege to give a brief overview on the abstract book of the Post-International Conference on Advances in Environmental Sustainability, Energy and Earth Science. We have received a total of 271 abstracts across the 15 thematic areas. Among these abstracts, 29 are to be presented as invited talks, 146 were selected for the oral presentations, and the remaining 96 are chosen for the poster presentations. These abstracts and works are being presented by prominent scientists, scholars, and scientists across the world. USA, Brazil, Canada, Japan, Sri Lanka, Vietnam, South Africa, Poland, Malaysia, Indonesia, South Korea, and Saudi Arabia. And of course from India, within India, abstracts are being submitted from the universities and institutes belonging to 18 states and 3 union territories, spanning from Jammu and Kashmir to Tamil Nadu and from Meghalaya to Gujarat. I would like to sincerely acknowledge SRM University, AP, and other sponsoring agencies for financing this international event, including the Ministry of Jal Shakti, Science and Engineering Research Board, private sector companies like Elementar, Shriveda, LabTech, Thermo Fisher Scientific, Supec Agritech, and GK Life Sciences. It is also a great privilege to announce that Supringer is our official publication partner, and we have grateful to Supringer for agreeing to publish conference proceedings and special issues. With this, let me conclude my brief outline of the abstract book of First International Conference on Advances in Environmental Sustainability, Energy and Earth Science. Thank you all.
It is an honor to invite our esteemed chief guest, Dr. Prakash Chauhan, to officiate the grand opening of AESEE 2024 by unveiling the abstract book. As a token of gratitude, we would like to present a memento to our speakers. May I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, to present the memento to our Chief Guest, Dr. Prakash Chauhan. Now I request our advisor, Professor V.S. Rao, sir, to present the memento to Professor Prakasham Tata.
Stay tuned for enriching cultural program filled with vibrant performances and artistic expressions scheduled for later today sharp at 6. First, I kindly request all the participants to gather at Grand Stairs SR Block for a group photo session. Let's capture this moment of collaboration, knowledge sharing, and camaraderie. The memories we create today will undoubtedly be cherished for years to come. Before we wrap up, let me extend another warm welcome to each one of you. Your absence, your presence adds immense value to this conference, and we are truly thrilled to have you with us.